Have you ever wondered what it takes to completely dominate the world without releasing a brand new song, without announcing a new album, and without saying a single word? Because somehow, Jimin just did exactly that. Within only a few extraordinary days, he achieved something that almost sounds impossible. He became the most talked about male idol in Korea. He stole the spotlight at one of the biggest sporting events on the entire planet. And while the whole world was still talking about him, BTS quietly reminded everyone why they're still the biggest group on Earth by sending another song soaring back into the world's biggest music charts. 3 headlines, 3 completely different stories, yet somehow, they're all connected. And once you see the full picture, you'll understand why fans everywhere are calling this one of BTS's most unforgettable weeks of 2026. So let's rewind. Because this story begins long before the lights of the World Cup stadium came on. Every month in South Korea, something fascinating happens. Millions upon millions of pieces of online data are collected. News articles, social media posts, community discussions, blog entries, comments, search trends, media coverage. Every click, every conversation, every mention contributes to one enormous analysis. The goal isn't simply to discover who's famous. It's to answer a much bigger question. Who is influencing the public the most right now? That's exactly what the Korea Business Reputation Institute measures. Unlike popularity polls that depend only on fan voting, these rankings attempt to reflect how deeply an idol has entered public conversation. Are people talking about them? Searching for them? Sharing videos? Discussing performances? Reacting to interviews? Creating new conversations? When all of those factors are combined, one name rose above hundreds of competitors: Jimin. Out of 755 individual male idols analyzed, Jimin claimed the #1 position for July 2026. Just think about that, 755 artists, some promoting new albums, some appearing in dramas, some starring in television shows, some beginning world tours. Yet the artist generating the strongest overall public impact was Jimin. Behind him stood Park Ji-hoon in second place. Jungkook secured third. ATZ's San made an enormous leap into fourth after an explosive increase in public attention. Jin ranked among the very best once again. V continued demonstrating his incredible influence. Legends like G-Dragon remained inside the highest rankings. The competition couldn't have been tougher. And still, Jimin stood at the very top, but numbers alone never tell the whole story. What makes this ranking so interesting is the Institute's analysis of the actual words surrounding Jimin. The strongest connection words weren't random. They included communicate, breakthrough, steadfast. Each one reveals something about the image people currently associate with him. Communicate reflects the unique relationship Jimin has always shared with ARMY. Even during busy schedules, fans constantly describe his warmth, sincerity, and ability to make people feel understood. Breakthrough suggests someone who continues pushing beyond expectations. Every performance, every appearance, every comeback. People expect excellence, yet somehow, he continues finding new ways to surprise everyone. And perhaps the most meaningful word of all, steadfast. In an industry where trends change almost overnight, remaining consistently loved year after year is incredibly difficult. Many artists experience brief moments of explosive popularity. Very few maintain that connection for over a decade. Jimin continues doing exactly that. The keyword analysis became even more interesting. 3 words appeared repeatedly: ARMY, Munich, blonde hair. That final keyword might seem surprisingly simple, but K-pop fans know exactly why. Sometimes a hairstyle becomes more than just a hairstyle. It becomes an era, a symbol, an instantly recognizable image that spreads across social media within hours. One appearance, one hairstyle, one performance. And suddenly, the entire internet can't stop talking. Perhaps the most remarkable statistic of all was the sentiment analysis. Over 93% of conversations surrounding Jimin were positive. Think about how extraordinary that really is. Today's internet moves at incredible speed. Opinions change by the minute. Criticism spreads instantly. Maintaining such overwhelming positivity while remaining one of the most famous entertainers in the world is something few celebrities ever experience. But as impressive as this achievement was, something even bigger was only beginning. Just imagine the scene. More than a football match, more than a championship. The entire world watching. Millions filling stadium seats. Hundreds of millions watching television broadcasts. Even more scrolling through social media. One of the largest global audiences of the entire year. The World Cup Final. For athletes, it's the biggest night imaginable. For musicians invited to perform during halftime, it's equally historic. Every second matters. Every camera angle matters. Every note matters. The pressure is almost impossible to describe. And then, the lights dimmed. Music filled the stadium. BTS appeared. The opening moments alone generated thunderous cheers. The atmosphere instantly transformed. People weren't simply watching football anymore. They were witnessing one of the world's biggest music acts sharing the same stage as one of the world's greatest sporting events. But among 7 globally recognizable members, one performer quickly became impossible to ignore. Jimin. Dressed in a football-inspired outfit featuring the number 7, a number carrying special meaning both in football through Son Heung-min and within BTS itself, he walked confidently onto the stage. Then came the vocals. Crystal clear, powerful, effortless. His signature high notes echoed throughout the stadium with astonishing stability despite the demanding choreography unfolding simultaneously. For longtime fans, it felt familiar. They've witnessed his incredible live performances for years, but something different happened that night. Millions of people watching had never seen Jimin perform before, and their reactions were priceless. Across social media, one question appeared over and over again. Who is the blonde singer? What's his name? I need to know who he is. The curiosity spread almost instantly. Search engines exploded. Clips flooded every platform. People who tuned in only for football suddenly found themselves searching for BTS, searching for Jimin. That's the power of a truly unforgettable performance. Sometimes, one stage is all it takes to create millions of new fans. Even celebrities couldn't contain their excitement. Before the halftime show had even begun, Billboard News personality Tetris Kelly excitedly posted online anticipating Jimin's appearance. The excitement was already building. Then came another delightful surprise. Supermodel Giselle attended the event. After watching Jimin perform, she uploaded a video to Instagram with a playful caption. "I came to support my husband." Fans instantly understood the joke. Comments poured in by the thousands. Memes spread everywhere. It became another unforgettable internet moment. Then came perhaps the funniest reactions of all. Live streamers. Because live streams capture something edited videos never can. Pure, unfiltered, first impressions. Isho Speed, one of the world's biggest internet personalities, over 58 million subscribers. While live streaming the event, his attention suddenly shifted toward the enormous stadium screen. Jimin appeared. His voice filled the stadium. Speed instinctively shouted, "Yo, short." Simple, but completely genuine. Moments later, another streamer, Neon, reacted in a way that immediately went viral. Listening to Jimin effortlessly hitting impossibly high notes, he looked completely confused. "There is a girl in the group?" Seconds later, reality hit. He finally recognized Jimin. His expression completely changed. "Oh my god! Jimin! Jimin!" Those few seconds spread across social media like wildfire. Fans laughed, new viewers became curious. Even people who had never followed BTS before began watching clips simply to understand why everyone was reacting the same way. Because that's what incredible performers do. They surprise people, even those who weren't expecting to be surprised. While conversations about the halftime show continued dominating the internet, BTS quietly achieved something equally astonishing. Months earlier, the group had released Arirang, its title track, Swim. The song became an international phenomenon. It topped charts, broke records, stayed at #1 on Spotify Global for 25 consecutive days. Most groups would celebrate achievements like that for an entire year. But BTS wasn't finished. Because another song from the album suddenly came back to life. Normal. Not the title track, not the heavily promoted single. A B-side. Almost 4 months after the album's release. Against every normal industry expectation, Normal re-entered Spotify's global daily top songs chart inside the top 10. Number 9. Meanwhile, Swim continued holding 8th place. Think about how extraordinary that really is. 2 songs from the same album, both sitting inside Spotify's global top 10, 4 months after release. That almost never happens. Usually, attention moves forward. Listeners chase newer releases. Streaming naturally declines. Instead, people returned again and again and again. They rediscovered Arirang, they replayed songs they already loved, and new listeners kept arriving every day. The Korean version of Normal delivered another surprise. It reached #1 on iTunes in an astonishing 70 countries and regions: the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, Brazil, and dozens more. That's not simply fan support, that's worldwide demand. Adding even more excitement, BTS released an exclusive Spotify music video filled with intimate behind-the-scenes moments. No extravagant storyline, no overwhelming special effects, just 7 artists sharing ordinary moments together. Ironically, that's exactly why the song connects so deeply. Because despite filling stadiums with tens of thousands of people, despite breaking records across continents, despite becoming global icons, Normal reminds listeners that BTS still understands ordinary life. Friendship, conversations, quiet moments, small smiles, simple happiness. Sometimes, the most powerful stories aren't about becoming extraordinary, they're about remembering where you started. When you step back and connect every headline, an incredible pattern begins to appear. Jimin becomes Korea's most influential male idol. Days later, he captures the attention of millions during one of the world's biggest sporting events. At almost the same time, BTS proves once again that their music doesn't fade after release. It grows stronger with time. Different achievements, different audiences, different industries. Yet they all tell exactly the same story. Influence isn't created overnight, it's earned. Performance after performance, song after song, year after year, moment after moment. That's why Jimin continues inspiring millions. That's why BTS continues rewriting expectations. And that's why, even after more than a decade together, they still manage to surprise the entire world. With the Arirang World Tour preparing for its next spectacular stop at MetLife Stadium, fans are already wondering what unforgettable moment comes next. If 1 week could produce headlines like these, imagine what the rest of the tour has in store. Because history has shown us something remarkable about BTS. Just when the world believes they've reached their peak, they somehow discover an even higher mountain to climb. And somehow, they always bring the world with them.